is like, because of government contracts, we have to make sure we have record retention. So we've built an app off of that, an application off of Salesforce to really kind of hone in on making sure that record retention for the government, we hold our government contracts and modifications and everything into that one location. So that's what we use a lot too. But then also with, interacting with others, like in previous roles, do you kind of work solely like within your group, or I know you kind of talked about external and internal stakeholders, but can you kind of go into like on a daily basis, like do you interact with a lot of other internal, external customers, or is it kind of like, here and there, or how's that interaction?
Well, it's basically the federal rep from those companies I talk to. Since working with the Department of Navy for so long, I got to know different sales reps and stuff like that. Are at the federal level for enterprise software, enterprise, cellular contracts and stuff like that. And then my own team, I work with my internal team that, and it deals with, one might be part of the, civilian side, and then the military side, and then the government side. So it varies with different external, internal stakeholders and things of that nature. So I guess I work with multiple stakeholders within the organization and then outside the organization.
Oops, I put you on mute. No, that's good. That's good. What would you say is your, compliance is the, number one for our government, and that's really specific to like software and all that stuff. But what would you say your biggest accomplishment is, kind of work-wise?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess you could say, when I worked with the at the help desk again, I established a waterfall technique, how they figure out how to, I don't know, it's just one of those military things I learned without joining them.
Yeah, waterfalls. Yeah. So what did it do? Because I used to work for a defense contractor, so I know what waterfalls are. So, what did the waterfall do?
Well,
what was it focused on?
Well, it just to me it's like a domino effect. Like before you go off to the next domino, basically you figure out the first domino and then you complete all the work in that one domino, and then it goes off to another domino and then the third domino, and I guess it's a set of workflows that it's a compliant workflow that you go through before you hit the next mission. I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
But
so
I'm sorry.
So what questions do you have for me?
Yeah, your tech stack, like the CRM, like what OS do you guys use? What type of systems, as in software you guys use for your contracts, your communications. What do you guys use? I guess you said you use the Office one, so.
Well, there's specific software within each of the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more specific to what the actual equipment and everything is required. But, and obviously, software specific to the equipment is, based on what this job would be focusing on is a specific business unit, because we have 11 business units in total. So I currently manage 9 of them, and then this role would be falling under MMS, medical management devices, systems, I mean. So that's really kind of specific to that role on the specific equipment that is focused on software updates. And then you have like other things, because we have so many contracts out there, and a lot of times it's either BD direct or we go through small business partners. So it's, we kind of do both of those. It's called a SDV OSB. So because the government, as you know, is kind of broken down into what kind of set asides there are, either large business or small business. So we're able to kind of really focus on making sure that we cover, both areas.
Okay. And I was just curious, like I saw in the job description, like who would be your internal and external stakeholders I would be working with?
So your external stakeholders are going to be your customers. Okay. So it could be either, like I talked about, a small business partner. It could be, the government per se, a VA, or federal Bureau of Prison. You could have specific locations like DOD, DLA. So there's a wide variety. There's no limitation of what actual federal agency that we don't deal with. Internally, you're going to have to, this role would really focus on internally. So there is our group who manages, the contracts and everything. And then we have a really great relationship with not only the RFP team within the business unit that helps supports us for our solicitations, but also we have government account managers as well. So those are the people that you kind of are lock step with, go through and make sure that you have to be kind of, like I said, lock and step, because you want to make sure you're responding in accordance to what sales and strategically we should be responding to. Like, we're not making up prices. We're not filling that out and making decisions on that, kind of thing. So. Okay.
And I guess I have wrote some of the questions down to coordinating. So those would be what would be some of the daily activities and what business support functions I would be supporting?
So some of the daily functions would be going through, responding to emails, looking up bid solicitations, RFPs, RFIs to see what's out there. And then you could go into renewals, getting through, seeing what type of renewals are out there. If we need to reach out to them, and do we need to start processing them? The one thing I want to mention is, with the renewals, we deal with a lot of other functionaries that you don't even think about, like accounting, finance, those kind of things, especially with the renewals. And then also government compliance. So we have a dedicated person that is focused on to help support our team. So you have legal, but then government compliance point of contact. So we work heavily with her as well. So those are some of the things, I know it says a lot in the job description of kind of like what it focuses on. But overall, it's kind of one of those that it's the day-to-day might be different one day, then the next is like, oh, we got this. Can you go work this? So it kind of fluctuates to day-to-day.
Okay. And some of the tools and stuff, like software tools, you guys use, is it primarily Salesforce or CRM, like Ajana?
So it would be Apttus, Salesforce. We have Teams. We're trying out some other new ones that are kind of for contract review. And then we have ones that we're building within Salesforce to kind of make a more automated process. And then what you talked about is SAP, the ERP system. We don't touch that at all. We have dedicated people that, because of SOX, we need to have that split. So we manage the overall contracts, and then somebody else supports and enters in the actual contracts
Oh,
to
okay.
SAP.
Okay. And most of the contracts are like, what type of contract would it be, or like?
So a lot of them are firm fixed price. So you have different types of contracts like BPAs, IDIQs, FSS, ECATs. We do a wide variety, especially for under this. My team does a lot of different type of contracts as well. We have a GSA, we have a FSS. We're going for a bunch of the different types of contract. PCME, typical government speak. Everything's an
Yeah.
acronym, right? It's like blah, 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 blah. My husband's like, I don't know what you're talking about half the time. I'm like, yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, there's a soup out there. It's one of those that most of it, I know with DOD, there's cost plus. We don't like to do those.
Yeah.
Because remember, BD is more commercial. So we're kind of in the space to say, okay, we want to be doing firm fixed price contracts because we're not CAS compliant, we're nothing like that. So we don't want to do cost incentives type of contracts. So we're focused on just doing firm fixed price contracts. But with that, you have all those ones that I talked about. We're trying to get a brand new ECAT, and it takes 6 months, or even our FSS that expires in a year.
Wow.
We're now trying to go get it a year before. So that's kind of,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Oh
So, so we, just to let you know, we are in the process of interviewing. We have other candidates and everything like that. I'm doing my first round, and you're in San Diego?
Yeah, San Diego.
Okay. So my boss, who is the director of government contracts and operations, will be probably the next step.
Okay.
And it might be in person depending on his schedule next week. So I'm trying to wrap up phone interviews by tomorrow afternoon, just to kind of give you a time frame. And then he might be available for in person next week. I have to travel. So we'll kind of see what kind of plays out for the next step, but I just want to kind of give you a heads up of where this kind of is going, because we do want to make a decision here quickly, because there's so much work. And I'm sure, as you're aware, with the government, fiscal year end, Q4 is coming up here, and it's just going to be crazy. So we really want to have somebody in place to start learning the process, get to know BD, all that stuff. So.
Yeah, because I had like 1,000 people call me for this role, just to tell you that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So and it was funny too. I got, as soon as this we had our meet, like a minute before, I got a message from another recruiter in the same role, like, oh, would you be interested in the same role? Like, it was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
So,
yeah, it's everything's in a different system. It's like, for this, you got to do this, and then HR doesn't even set up these interviews anymore. It's me, and I'm like, what? Just tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So it was funny. So, but no, it's really great meeting you, Jesse, and you have my email on the meeting invite, so that's mine directly. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I am the hiring manager for this role. But again, we'll kind of give you a status update once we finish up and wrap up these other interviews, and we'll kind of go from there.
All right, sounds like a plan. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Well, have a great weekend.
You too. Happy Easter.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.